What's good, people? It's Spud here, and welcome to episode 72 of the Roundup. In today's episode, obviously, we're going to be looking back at the last couple of weeks of Call of Duty action, as there was no episode last week. As teams finished their online qualifiers, only 5 in this split after, obviously, we had the minor as well. Um, but we are ready for Major 3 at the Pro-Am, and OpTic will also have the Huntsman there. We're going to be doing our Major 3 predictions. Now, it is a bit different, the predictions, because obviously, we don't know what the brackets actually look like. We've only got group play for now. So I've ultimately made a bracket with the scenarios that I've predicted. Obviously we're looking at the MVP and Rookie of the Year ladder as well, but it will be mainly the predictions and looking back at obviously the last 2 weeks of action. Hasn't been any roster changes. So yeah, if you are new, please do like the video. Sorry, my back is really bad this morning and last night. If do like the video, if you enjoy, please, it helps me out a lot. And comment who you think's going to win Major 3. Now, by the way, before we get on to the start of this video, I need to say that for who I predicted Minor 1 correctly in terms of the winner. Like, I actually got a prediction right, which makes me think I'm going to go on a prediction win streak. Or so I hope, which might give away who I'm going to go for to win. Anyway, let's get into the matches. So we start with Friday the 1st of May, because that was the first one after the Minor tournament. OpTic versus Breach. This was 3-1 winner for OpTic. Hugh almost went neutral with Mercules. Dashi and Shotzi, the players with the best KDs for OpTic. On the other side, Purge does go positive. I believe Purge did actually have. Yeah, Purge played okay in this series, but obviously still, I'm surprised that he is still on the roster. Um, but yeah. Then we had Thieves versus Cloud9. Honestly, Cloud9, I feel bad for the players. I mean, at least they're getting something, and they are professional players. I mean, Nezra 1.16 isn't too bad, but like, they are just, they're just stuck. Ultimately, I mean, the Overlord was close, but like, when Cloud9 joined the CDL, right? When Cloud9 joined the CDL, I was like, oh, okay, you know, a decent organization. Let's see what they do, but they are known for cutting rosters a little bit. Um, and obviously last year they changed the roster a bit, didn't work. But this year obviously they've just fully gone budget, and they're not going to get any results. So if they're going to do this next year, I'd rather they weren't in the league, to be honest. Anyway, we had FaZe versus Carolina. This went to a round 11 on Fringe, but FaZe were able to take this one, completing the Neslaw. Not the best series from FaZe. They actually had a bit of a rough split here. But that won't matter for them going into the major lurks, though. 1.06 there with 106 kills on the other side. But ultimately, the winners were FaZe. Simp with the most damage in the lobby, helping his team here pick up a big win. Obviously, you know, because of how the bracket is, every win was important. I mean, every win is always important. Obviously, you get the 10 CDL points, which for some of these teams fighting to make champs is massive. Obviously, we haven't really been looking at the standings that much. That'll be something that we'll be looking at after the major in terms of who's going to make champs. I mean, we know Cloud9 aren't making champs. Boston probably aren't making champs. But then again, Boston did have a couple of top threes last year, including at champs. Carolina Royal Ravens here just beat Cloud9 on that hard point to stop a game 5. So it is a win here. Lurks and Craze, obviously the rookies there. Pretty good job. Massive 10 points for Ravens. They've been struggling a bit recently. I do think since Nero left the team, they've not been as good. But we know that they're an online team, so we'll have to see how they do in Atlanta. Then we had Miami versus FaZe, and this, look at the hard point. Look at this map 4, by the way. Abusa 0.46, Draza 0.57, like, on the other side, Super almost double positive. a ridiculous map for to win it. Yeah, good series here from Miami Heretics. Everyone positive as you'd expect. I don't know what Miami's a weird one going into this event. They are so like hit and miss. You know, they literally got to the minor final, but only won 2 games. They were on 3. No, sorry, they weren't on 3. It's because there's so many games. Miami's such a weird team though. And then we had Vancouver versus Riyadh. Riyadh win this one 3-1. Pretty comfortable, I would say, for the Falcons. Shelley in 1.48. But he did actually have the least damage on the team. He probably will have got MVP. Yeah, he got MVP, but he actually had the least damage on the team. I feel like when people vote for MVP, they just go for the person that has the most kills or best KD on the winning team. But like, yeah, not ideal there really. OpTic, Koi, obviously the best 2 teams in the online in this split online. Kips and Insight had a rough one here. Joe deceives a 1.45 for the loss. I think he broke the kill record for this game as well. A 1.45 for the loss is mental. Like that is actually wild. GG's to him. OpTic obviously taking that massive series because if OpTic win that, if Koi win that, Koi going to Group A, OpTic are in Group B. And things might look a bit different in the bracket. So Surge Thieves 3-1 here. Surge, look at that map 3 though. Very good. I don't know what to think about Surge's chances at the major. Obviously, their roster on paper isn't that bad, but Gwyn really hasn't been good since he was on the Ravens for his rookie year. With Clayster, TJ, and Fellow. I think that was when he looked his best. So he's still got 2 more games from last week. G2 3-0 Miami here, by the way. I mean, it was a close 3-0, but still. Estial 1.38. Not bad. I'm going to be perfectly honest, right? I don't have, and I'm happily say this now. I was going to say it at some point in this video if I'd remembered, and I've just remembered. I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. I haven't been watching as much CDL this year. Last couple of years, I've been watching religiously since MW2. I used to watch bits and pieces of esports, but MW2 is when I started to watch it again fully. Just after Major 1. No, sorry, it wasn't MW2, it was Vanguard. Vanguard just was OpTic won the Major, I think. I started watching bits and pieces of it then, and then I started fully watching last in MW2, the year after that. This is the first year since MW2 that I've not been that invested on the online stuff. And even there's been 1 or 2 OpTic series that I haven't watched. I don't know why that is, to be honest. Because I used to watch, I mean, I watched the LAN religiously. I mean, obviously last LAN event was a bit more difficult because of the timings. Obviously there's going to be like loads of games on Friday. I think there's meant to be like 20 matches across 4 stages for the group player. So it's going to be pretty crazy, but so much to talk about on 73 Roundup, I guess. Yeah, I actually like just haven't had that motivation for the online stuff. I don't know if it's because I'm not a fan of the guns, not a fan of the maps really. I mean, I like Fringe, I like Plaza, but they've obviously just come in. But I haven't seen as much as I normally would, and I don't know why that is. Because I enjoy the CDL, I enjoy doing the roundup, but I just don't know if I've had that motivation to watch every single series like I used to. Because that's what I did from MW2, MW3, Black Ops 6. I did that. Watch every single series. If there was a series I missed, I'd be gutted. Now I don't watch a full weekend, except if it's at the major. I don't know why that is, but um, like I'll be perfectly honest. Like when we get to this weekend's matches, I probably only watched about 4 or 5 out of. I probably only watched about half of them, if that. Um, where was I up to? Oh, this is the last game of the uh, the week that obviously I missed the roundup because I was away at the Lake District. It was a reverse sweep from the Gentlemates. Ghosty 1.41. I was going to move him down on the MVP ladder to behind Joe Deceives, but he had Joe Deceives-esque series there, winning it for G2. So G2. Gentlemates. God, I am out the late partner. Right, so this is this week's matches now. So we've had a little rant, not a rant, but just a little talk about how I'm finding the product of the league at the moment. So, Riyadh Falcons versus Miami Heretics. This was a 3-1 win here for the Riyadh Falcons. If we look here at the stats, everyone negative. A rough series there for especially for like Rencor and Super, who are kind of like the main gunpowder for Miami. They did get outplayed here by Celium, by Pred, by Exnid. And obviously that does put Falcons 3-2. This is what I mean with Miami is they're a bit of a weird team. Then we had Gentlemates versus OpTic. Obviously, OpTic had Gentlemates and FaZe this weekend, so it wasn't going to be the most easy of games. But this was a pretty straightforward one. The hard point was a close-ish match. I mean, Gorsi at 0.71, a rough series from him. Huke the Nuke, incredible. You know, it is between him, Mercules, and Sim for MVP by the end of the season, I think. We'll have to see who wins Major 3 and Major 4. I think if one of the OpTic boys gets an MVP in that time, I think it'll probably be them, but yeah, Huke's been incredible this season for OpTic, as has. But the whole team's been good, obviously. They just haven't won an event yet. They've been second twice, turning into Arsenal, old Arsenal, because they're going to win the league this year. And we're all going to have to suck it up and accept it, and I'm going to hate it. I was going to talk about some Spudball stuff. Like, I had a couple of Spudballs prepared. Sounds like Buzzball, doesn't it? Haven't done that yet. I need to do World Cup predictions as well. I'll probably do them next week. Anyway, Koi versus Surge here, 3-0 here. Joe Deceives. He is having a great time at the moment. Everyone positive, so good series here from the Koi lot. The Koi boys. The Koi boys? That sounds like the Toy boys. 32 kills by Gwyn, by the way. That's crazy. That's a rough series. Very, very rough. And Red Thieves versus Ravens. This was actually a 3-2 win here for Ravens, so a bit of a surprise result. Even though Scrap had a nice series, it's firing its Lurks. Lurks is so good. So good. I'm interested to see what team he gets on next year, because he'll definitely be in the CDL. He's too good not to be. Ravens though, big 10 CDL points. They'll be happy with that. And then we had OpTic versus FaZe. Obviously, we'll probably see these two at the major. 3-2 win here for OpTic. They do win that Search and Destroy on Plaza. Like I said, Huke, Mercules, and Simp, the three best players in the series. All four as well, having an okay one. Dashi not his best, but OpTic do get the job done. These two teams obviously always have history. It's nice to see OpTic finally beating them regular season, but obviously FaZe did beat them in the Major 2 final. So, not ideal, but hopefully that'll change. Anyway, Boston do finally pick up an online win in this split as they win 3-2 here against G2 in Game 5 fashion. I do feel bad for Nasty. He is way too good to be on a roster like this, but nothing he can really do. Everyone green for G2, even though obviously two of them did go neutral. Kremp 100 kills though, not a bad series from him. But Nasty MVP, and rightly so. It's 10 points for Boston, but they need a run at Major 3 or Major 4 or both, to be honest, to be able to get into champs. Last four online matches. We have Falcons beating Cloud9. Cloud9 did take their first hard point in like 10. Sorry, in like 10 series. Oh my god. Everyone positive for Falcons. I don't know what Falcons are going to be like, but obviously they almost made a roster change. They obviously didn't in the end, so we'll have to see what happens with them. Then we had France versus Spain. We had Gentlemates versus Heretics. My voice is gone. Shit. Almost a reverse sweep from the Gentlemates, but it is a 3-2 win here for Miami Heretics. Ghosty Neptune in the green. Everyone in the green but Trex here. Raincore with a typical Raincore series of 101 kills. good showing. I'd argue a good showing from Envoy as well. But obviously not enough to get it done. It is a Heretics win. 10 massive CDL points for both. Obviously it changes where they'll be in the bracket as well. As Gentlemates will be grouped up with LA Thieves. And then we actually had LA Thieves losing 3-1 here to G2. This was a bit of a surprise result. I watched that Colossus. I watched this series. Obviously the Colossus hardpoint was very, very good shown from G2. Mamba's starting to pick it up again, like he did at the start of the year. But Estriel has had a really good couple of series, and I'm interested to see how he does at the major. I think he is actually now the star player of this team. And this was a rough series, and I'm not talking bark for Noem. Obviously, MVP ladder isn't going to be affected that much by one online series, but like we'll have to see how he does at the major. Same with Kips, same with Lurk, same with Trex, same with Mamba. Like we want to see some movements because the MVP ladder won't have that many changes at the top 5 now, I don't think. Whereas obviously it still could change a lot for the Rookie of the Year ladder. Our final online series was Koi New York. Sorry, Koi versus Cloud9 New York. Cloud9 did take a round 11 in the search, but it was a Koi 3-1 here. Joe Deceives having a couple of really good series here. And we will see a movement of him in the MVP ladder. I'll say that now. Encouraged though, an encouraging sign, pun intended. Nearly 15k damage, 1.12 for the loss. Let's see what he can do at the major. But Cloud9, can they win a game? We'll have to see. Right, so let's do, before we do our predictions, we're going to do Rookie of the Year ladder. So, like I said, we're going to keep, Kips, Nuim, Lurks as top 3, and it's still going to be Trex and Mamba for your top 5. Then I'm going to put Encourage Craze and then the rest of the, and then Abe with the rest of the Cloud9 boys. With MVP ladder though, Mercules, Simp, Huke is the top 3. The only change is that Joe Deceives has gone from number 10 to number 7. All 4 stays at number 8. Gorsey stays at 9 and Abuz has dropped down to 10. That's the only change. So Joe Deceives has gone up 3. Right, predictions time. Now this is going to be a bit more complex than normal because obviously we've got group player and then it'll be a 8-team bracket like champs. So we're going to start off. We've got a lot of games to go through. I'm not going to do score predictions, just who I'm going to predict to win each series. So OpTic OpTic, I'm going to go OpTic. Which then puts OpTic into elimination round 1. Obviously, if you win your first game, you're into your group's final. If you lose that final, group's winners final. If you win that, then you go through as winner. If you lose, you have to play losers final to try and get into the second seed for your group. So obviously, it is double elimination. So OpTic lose, then they do get another chance, but they have to win 2 series to get through after that. A G2 Surge, I'm going to go for a bit of a surprise result here, and I'm actually going to go with Vancouver Surge to win this one. Putting G2 into the losers bracket. Then we're going to do OpTic versus Surge. We're going to go OpTic to get first place, which then drops Surge into losers bracket. G2 versus Surge. I'm going to go with G2 to beat G2 OpTic. Sorry, I'm going to go with G2 to beat OpTic, and OpTic will go 16th. And then Surge versus G2. I actually am going to go Surge again. I don't know. I've just got this feeling. I just have this weird feeling that Surge are going to beat G2 twice, and I don't know why. Because they probably will get absolutely slammed by them now. But I'm just going to go with it. So that's Group A. Pretty straightforward. Then Group B, we have Koi versus Huntsman. Obviously, Huntsman is OpTic's Challengers team. It's pretty sick to see them there, but I'm not going to be biased. I will go Koi here. Heretics versus Royal Ravens. I'm going to go with the Miami Heretics, which then sends Ravens to elimination match. Koi versus Heretics is going to be a close one, but I am going to go with Koi here to win this one, which sends them as first seed, which then puts Heretics obviously into the losers, the qualifying final. And they actually are going to be playing Huntsman. I've got Huntsman beating Ravens. I just think that obviously the crowd is going to be up for the Huntsman as well because it's obviously part of OpTic. So I will go Huntsman to beat Ravens here. Obviously Ravens are not good on LAN. Let's see if Huntsman can do that and can be good. But however, Huntsman will not be getting top 8. It will be a top 12 finish, which I don't think means they'll win any money. I don't really know how the obviously because they won't get any CDL points because they ain't in the CDL. So I wonder if they will get like I wonder if the money is split so top 16 get nothing, top 12 get something because that's what it would be like at EWC. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Group C, Thieves. We have Thieves, P7, Gentlemates, and Boston Breach. We'll go with Thieves to beat P7. I know Thieves obviously have had a couple of rough online chooses since winning the minor tournament, but I do think Thieves will comfortably dispatch a P7. Then we have Gentlemates versus Boston Breach. Obviously, Gentlemates haven't really been that good since Major 1, since winning Major 1, but I think they'll have enough to beat the Boston Breach, whose struggles will continue. Thieves versus Gentlemates, I'm going to go with the Thieves to put Mates into losers, and they will be playing P7. I think Breach are just going to have an absolute, like, it's going to be one of those games where, like, they're just going to break down, and it's going to be horrible to watch for Boston Breach fans. Obviously, because, like, I'm a Boston Celtics fan, I feel like if I didn't support OpTic, I probably would have went for Boston Breach. Um, so obviously I'm quite glad that OpTic are around. But then, obviously I have no affiliation with Boston in general. It's just, obviously Celtics are my team in the NBA. But yeah. P7 versus Mates to get into the top 8 and to get out of the group stage. I am going to go with Gentlemates. No surprise there. Group D is FaZe, Rock, Falcons, and Cloud9. So FaZe versus Rock, we're going to have to go with FaZe. Falcons, Cloud9, again, we're going to have to go with Falcons. FaZe versus Falcons will be a close one, but Falcons have not really shown much on LAN, whereas FaZe are the major 2 champions. So I'll have to go with FaZe. Is this a surprise? Honestly, I don't know. I think whoever wins this Rock versus Cloud9, it's not really a surprise who wins, because Cloud9 are basically a challengers team, a glorified one. But I am going to go with Cloud9 to beat Rock here and get the top 12 and get to qualifiers finals, where they will play Falcons and they will probably lose. I have to go with Falcons. Realistically, I've not gone for any. The only surprise in this bracket, in these top 8 really, that I've gone for is that Surge knock out G2 in terms of like the top 2. Obviously, I'd say Huntsman beating Ravens and P7 beating Breach would also be surprises, and probably Cloud9 beating Rock. Literally, like, I don't know the Rock roster, to be perfectly honest with you. But I just think obviously Cloud9, it's their first time playing on LAN, you know, because they all play remotely, like they're not even in a facility or anything, so it could be quite interesting. Right, so now that's your top 8. So now what I've done, I will have to remove the webcam for this. So what I've had to do is basically work out how it would be. So I believe that it obviously would be the winners of Group A would play the runners-up of Group D. Um, the winners of Group D would play the runners-up of Group A. The winners of Group B would play runners-up of Group C, and the winners of Group C would play runners-up of Group B. And then the 4 teams that lose would obviously be the losers bracket. So what I've done here is in the teams that are bald, are the teams that will win. So I've got OpTic beating Falcons, FaZe beating Surge, Mates beating Koi, which might be a bit of, that's going to be an interesting one, but I am going to go with the Mates to beat Koi, a bit of a surprise result, I'd say. And Thieves to beat Heretics. Then we've got losers round one. So obviously loser goes home here, top eight. Falcons to beat Surge, I think. That could be a close series. But we'll go with Falcons. And Koi to beat Heretics. Um, obviously the Spanish derby. Then we have winners round two. I have got OpTic to beat FaZe here. And I've got Thieves beating Gentlemates. And then losers round two, obviously this will be for top six place. And I'm going to go with the Mates to beat the Falcons to get to Championship Sunday. And FaZe to beat Koi. And then for the fourth for top three, I'm actually gonna go with Gentlemates to actually have a bit of a run at this event. Obviously, they won Major one, so we need to remember they are still a good team. I've got Gentlemates beating FaZe here and going to losers finals, where they will face OpTic because I've got Thieves beating OpTic here. And you know what people have been saying about, oh, if you lose winners final, but then win losers final, you've got more of an advantage because you'll have played in that time. Obviously, OpTic have said this the last two events. And yeah, I'm just going to say it as it is. I have got OpTic winning this event, and I know obviously I always go with OpTic to win and they never win, and if I don't go for OpTic to win, they do win. But obviously, I predicted Thieves to win minor one, and they did. I think if OpTic get to grand final through winning the winners final, they won't win because there's no advantage. It's actually disadvantage almost. I think if OpTic get to losers final, win losers final, and then play Thieves or whoever's in the grand final with them, I think they win. We'll have to see though, but I'm gonna go with OpTic. I wasn't gonna go with OpTic because I don't want to jinx them, but at the same time, it's who I actually am predicting that'll win, and I have gone OpTic because I do think OpTic are the best team, and I do think they'll win. So I feel like I couldn't just not go for them, if you get me. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this episode of the Roundup. Thank you so much. I don't think I've missed anything because obviously I've said the stuff I was going to say during the episode. So thank you so much for watching. This will be out at 6 p.m. Enjoy the major. Let me know who you think's going to win down below. And yeah, obviously I'll see you next week for episode 73, which will be our Major 3 champions. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. And bye for now. Thanks again.